Mike Gallagher. Every day, Mike visits with Mark Davis, morning host on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas. Here's today's M&M Experience.
Check out headlines today. I love this. Newsmax. 4 new polls show Trump with strong approval ratings. How about Axios? Biden's cancer diagnosis draws sympathy and suspicion. Even the left, the Democrats are now piling on. How about another Axios headline? MAGA faithful, and this is the one I want to start with you on.
Yeah.
The MAGA faithful are growing frustrated with Trump's Justice Department.
Huh?
And Mark, people are saying, come on, Pam Bondi, why aren't you arresting James Comey? Come on, guys, why don't you stop? I mean, Pam Bondi is spending a lot of time on Fox News, but not a lot of time actually prosecuting. Not a lot of time.
He got a tense visit from the Secret Service, and in fact was escorted to a Secret Service office for a sit down. What exactly did people want? I mean, I know
once you charge him with threatening the president of the United States.
That's not.
I mean,
there's school. No.
There's a statute that says you can't do that. Yeah. And and I'm gonna go on a limb here a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe the conventional wisdom is it would have been tough to get a conviction in a court of law.
Of course.
At least charge him. At least
there's value to that. There's optics value to that.
Right, exactly. The optics value. At least say, look, they're doing it. Look, Alina Habba's doing it now.
Congresswoman LaMonica McIver of New Jersey assaulted ICE officers, and she flat out got charged.
And the Democrats, of course, are melting down faster than a bucket of water on the Wicked Witch. They're saying, how dare you chill it was part of her oversight. Oh, yeah, your oversight is to lay hands on an ICE agent? That's part of your oversight? Nice try, Congresswoman.
And did you see the posturing? I think it was 3-4 days. It was end of last week. I had back-to-back audio. There was Hakeem Jeffries with that wonderful can chopping thing that he does. I just want to tell you that if they do anything, that if they cross a line, that's a line that you do not cross. Well, what are you going to do? No, I'm not going to tell you, but that's a line that you do not cross. Do not cross. And then AOC, if you lay one finger on our people, we're going to have a problem. Oh, really, young lady? And what exactly with that problem?
Oh, they're just about threats, and they're about flailing about. Because you can't put hands. Look, no one is above the law.
Yep.
And if you're a congressman, now she made a decision not to charge the mayor. And I saw an analysis last night. I think it was over on, One American News. They were saying that the video doesn't show conclusively him putting hands, but she does. She's pushing. She's shoving. You don't shove a cop if you're a member of Congress. Who do they think they are? They just think they can get away with anything, and I'm fed up with it. And again, back to Pam Bondi. Do you think the Trump's Justice Department has been sufficient enough? Here's Kash Patel and Bongino. Oh, Epstein did kill himself, which infuriated Epstein's brother. Epstein's brother said no, he didn't. He was killed. Who are they to say that? I mean, it's like here's what the MAGA masses are growing. This is Tal Axelrod over at Axios. The MAGA masses are growing disillusioned with Justice Department officials who are failing to deliver damning information on a laundry list of hot-button issues.
There's one problem with the headline. One problem with the
Okay.
headline. Masses. What you and I have described, what you brought up, is absolutely resonating with, and it's not a tiny sliver. It's an appreciable number of people. But I would say the vast number of people who voted for Trump don't pay a lot of attention. And when I say don't pay a lot, they want an active. They want Pam Bondi to be great. They want they want justice done for justice reasons, and not DEI, and not preferential treatment, not political witch hunts, et cetera, et cetera. That has been cleansed, and that's good. But the number of people really fired up and torqued off about this is somewhat limited at the moment. It's a kind of a political junkie kind of thing. So the notion that the MAGA masses are frosted by this is an overstatement.
Well, to your point, the reality check at the end of the article says not everybody is ready to flip the table. While some people are still building up their MAGA bona fides, like Pam Bondi, others like Patel and Bongino have long-standing credibility with Trump fans. Yeah. The underlying point remains, the National Pulse's Raheem Kassam texted Axios, the underlying point remains, Kash and Dan are badasses at the height of their efficacy. They deserve more time and more trust. So
and
maybe
they,
it's
and
a
they
matter
do deserve our trust, which is why when you get to the whole stupid Epstein story, where it's impossible to even mention it without everything going through the instant meat grinder of everybody's immediate biases. What was he just a horrific creature? Of course. Is there probably something we don't know and that maybe we'll never know of some famous or infamous people who are on the plane or on the... There is no client list. That's a fraud. So, but is there something in there that if only we knew that it would be juicy? Probably. So
Yeah.
that has everybody just amped up, cranked up to 11. But so, and he dies in prison. Wow, does that look suspicious? Do we know, like we know our own names, that he was killed, that somebody had him killed? No, we do not. Is it a suspicion worthy of some foundation? Sure. But I do trust Kash Patel, and I do trust Dan Bongino. And if they are the ones who have the closest access to the evidence and they say, looks like a suicide, I'm prepared to defer to them.
Meanwhile, I had dinner last night with a buddy of mine who got into a mess with TSA a few months ago in, I forget the airport he was in. I think it was in, it was a smaller airport, but he got, his elderly mother was getting, frisked by TSA because she had metal, and he said, would you stop putting your hands on my mother? And then they got lippy with him.
Oh, no.
He wound up, and then American Airlines got involved. It was a mess. And I got to thinking about what I went through on my way here. I always try to wear a flag pin that has the Israeli flag and the American flag connected, intertwined. I'm wearing it right now as we speak, if you're watching on Salem News Channel. I was at the gate in Tampa, and a 40, 50-something-year-old woman with a streak of purple in her hair, which could have been the giveaway, walks up to me, and she purposely comes near me. She veers towards me, and as she gets almost shoulder to shoulder with me, she says, "Free Palestine, MFer." And she didn't say MFer.
Great.
And I thought, something? Now, I know I'm not an intimidating, imposing-looking fellow. I know I'm not going to scare anybody, but how does she know I'm not going to rear off and just pop her right in the snout? What the heck gives her the right?
But because she probably knows that that's what her side does. That the violence, the short fuses, the ridiculousness, the juvenile behavior, that's them.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.